welcome to my Raw review for the 14th, I believe. If you do American, it's the 14th. If you do English, it's the 13th review of WWE Raw. Well, last night. You might see me looking up at the other computer screen briefly, simply because I have had a few notes up there. Because let's be honest, being a UK fan, it's not fair on us staying up all fucking night. Um, and have to deal with basically what is essentially a half hour to an hour of filler. It really don't matter how long they fucking try and make Raw. The fact of the matter is, go back for 2 hours. The first thing I want to do is thank God for daylight savings. Literally, thank you, my brother. Raw started an hour early, and this is what I've been saying all along. Why can't you stop? Yeah. Oh well, that's cool. Someone just gave me a raw fucking notification that Neville might be injured. Anything could happen in a live stream, and I say this with caution. Hell no, actually, I don't say it with caution. I know some people would disagree. I know some people would agree, but Raw needs to be 2 hours. End of. So let's get back into it. Right, the first thing that happened on Raw today, we had a tag team title match. Pretty cool, right? League of Nations versus the New Day. It was pretty interesting to see the numbers game dynamic get played off against the New Day for once. I mean, you know, it's something different, isn't it? The New Day constantly have the numbers on their side, and the League of Nations, everyone not hates but dislikes the League of Nations. I want to say don't like them that much. They're a bit boring. They're a bit placid, like a non-erect penis, but there you go. So basically, I will actually give it to them. If the object of this match was to sit up and make me take notice, that was what they achieved. Like the New Day may have won the match, and it was a decent match. It weren't like anything, it weren't anything good. It weren't anything bootylicious. It was just run of the mill, random, pretty much not all that. But who really cares when you got the New Day, you'll be guaranteed entertainment. Anyway, the end of the contest comes when bloody Kofi Kingston manages to grab the tights of, I think it was Rusev. Was it Rusev? No, maybe Del Rio. I don't know. Crazy guys. But then post match, the League of Nations, they completely gang up on the New Day and essentially four-man double team them, because there was only one New Day member fighting at the time, basically. The four members would knock down Xavier Woods, then they'd knock down Kofi, then Big E would come back, and then they'd knock down Big E. It was not, so it weren't like a real fight. That will come later at WrestleMania, as we found out. I will say this: out of all the New Day members, poor old Xavier Woods definitely knows how to take a beating. Okay, so basically, after the commercial break, Ambrose is out and says he made a few mistakes last night, but he was this close to winning the WWE Championship. The normal gallantry hero. The hero promo. Oh, yeah, I come so close, but I got so far. But it don't matter, man, because I'm still Dean Ambrose kind of thing. Out comes Brock Lesnar, who I didn't even know was scheduled for the show. So it actually was a surprise to me. A bit of a throwback to when the dirt sheets didn't exist. But then, and I'm not complaining, but basically all this segment was Paul Heyman. My name is Paul Heyman, and I am the advocate for my client, the Beast, and Brock Lesnar, and all this shit. It was good, but it's like, if I'm Brock Lesnar, I mean, obviously everyone knows this already, but if I'm Brock Lesnar, Brock's got the sweetest deal in all of professional wrestling. Come out through the ring and look bad. Walk around for 5 minutes, and that is exactly what he did. Brock circled the ring, and yeah, he didn't get in. But that was pretty much where it ended. It's a bit weird, but okay. And there was pretty much no more build up than that. The tension's building. It's a simmering pot. The potatoes are getting softer. The water's beginning to boil, and soon enough we'll have ourselves some nice soft potatoes that we can potentially dip in some nice mayonnaise or sour cream sauce. But whatever. The point is, is that Lesnar was on Raw, and he showed he means business, I suppose. Sin Cara randomly, and Ryback has some kind. Before I even say what happened in this match, it was a short match. It was essentially a squash match. Ryback beat Sin Cara by delivering a shell shock. He delivered another one to finally get the pin. Now Ryback, I described it on Twitter as peacocking. Ryback is peacocking for Kalisto in order to get a shot at the US title. And my suspicions were confirmed when Ryback essentially said, bigger is better. Size matters. Raw. Face me for that US title. Feed me title. Yeah. I mean, he didn't say that, but I can imagine them coming up with a stupid catchphrase like that. So, nonetheless, it looks like thus far on Raw, we got Kalisto versus Ryback for the United States title added to WrestleMania. I don't think it's officially been added yet, but it will. It will. And officially added is the New Day versus the League of Nations. So now we're beginning to pad out the Mania card a little bit. It's not shaping up to be a bad show. I think it'll be a bit like England's last World Cup. I mean, England's last World Cup weren't that good anyway, but I mean, in the sense of that, people will go in with such low expectations that you can't possibly be disappointed. I mean, we're already disappointed as it is before the thing's even kicked off. No Seth Rollins, no Cesaro. How many people were injured? And now I don't think there'll be any Neville. Let's hope the injury is not serious, but we'll see. I miss the Money in the Bank ladder matches at WrestleMania. I know that would leave you running around with free Money in the Banks back in the day, but now there's only one title, and there's one less Money in the Bank. Why don't you just? Wouldn't it be really interesting? I mean, I know it could work out as an extreme catastrophe, but just briefly, I know we're getting off topic, but wouldn't it be interesting if the Money in the Bank winner cashed in the title shot on the champion, won the match, and then the other Money in the Bank winner came out, and it would be a big mess, but it would just be one of them things that are so freaky. I'd probably like to see it once just to see what the hell they could do with it, but we'll see exactly what happens. Okay, so Stephanie is out next after the commercial break. She speaks about zoned out pretty much until she eventually introduces Triple H, who goes on a massive tirade. Now look, don't get it twisted, I don't even need to look at my notes for this because it was that long. I remember it off by heart. He was just drumming on and on and on about the same old shit. Everyone hates authority. You come home to your wife and she hates you. You hate your boss, blah, 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 blah. In life, you're a failure, like Roman Reigns. And the funny thing is that these guys actually cheered that. I mean, the guy just called you a failure. Come on, man. Anyway, eventually, Dolph Ziggler comes out and he says he's sick of being held down, but he don't care. He don't give a shit, basically. Fire me. I like doing this. Whatever. Fire me, man. Fire me. He's a kamikaze right now. Triple H says we won't fire you because that's not best for business. And then Stephanie says if you win your match tonight, you can have any WrestleMania match you want. Cool, right? The match is against Triple H. Now, the funny thing is, I know I'm going to get in trouble for saying this. Even as I'm saying it now, I'm even having second thoughts about saying it. I mean, you can see it in my eyes, but Triple H had the same look on his face that I do when my girlfriend asked me to come round her house and see her parents and all that. I was just like, oh. It's just like that, man. It's crazy. That was funny. But nonetheless, the match was actually a real barnstormer. Like, you know, it was a fucking crazy. It was good. It was good. Like, but we'll get on to more of that later. So what we got next? Oh, Sami Zayn. Yes, Sami Zayn. Okay, I'm all for Sami Zayn, but if you're gonna fucking bring him out, don't waste the guy. This segment was completely for storyline development, which I'm okay with because clearly they're developing for Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens. Now, Sami Zayn came out and fought The Miz. You know, they fought for a bit. Punch, 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 kick, struggle in the corner. Punch, 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 kick, struggle in the corner. KO was on commentary until he got up, got in the face of Zayn, but then Miz attacked Kevin Owens. I guess they got some kind of beef as well. And the distraction led to Sami Zayn being able to hit the hell of a kick. And that was pretty much that. I'm not going to complain at all, really. Pretty much. I mean, we get some storyline development for Mania for both of these guys, right? So it's not the worst thing in the world, is it, really? I mean, I'm happy with this. You're happy with this. Bingley is happy with this. Thank you, Adam, from whatculture.com. You know, everyone's happy with this. Next, we have Brie and Alicia Fox out, and they lose a bad tag team match after Lana takes the focus at ringside. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm digging Lana. I mean, who can't be digging Lana? But what is going on? I assume they're gonna build up to have Brie face Lana in a singles match or maybe a tag team match because Team Bad got involved and they threatened Lana. Actually, no, I've just realized what they're fucking trying to do. It's gonna be Team Bad and Lana. So Naomi and fucking Tamina, Lana versus Brie Bella, Alicia Fox, and Paige because they got in the face of Paige like backstage. Well, at least Paige is going to be on the Mania card. I mean, it's not all that, but let's see if she can continue her undefeated WrestleMania streak or whether that will die. But we'll see, we'll see. But the point is, right? The point is, I just don't get all this. I mean, you get Lana back with Rusev, yeah. You have her go back to being like the ravishing Russian, albeit with like a long ponytail instead of that bobble thing she used to have on her head. But now you're bringing her out in like leather jackets and short skirts and demon and all. Oh God, I don't know, man. I'm not interested. Has she got backstage heat? Has she not? What the fuck, man? I really don't care. Anyway, next up, and even what is even more filler, the Usos have a match against the Social Outcast with the Dudley Boys on commentary, who just plain leave. No sneak attack, no nothing. I mean, are we going to get the Dudleys versus the Uso at WrestleMania? In the truth, we're probably going to get it on the pre-show. I mean, all this feud and all that for a pre-show. I was actually interested when the Dudley Boys first turned heel. But, like, no. I mean, I'm all for the Social Outcast being on TV and actually having a gimmick. Thus, it kind of creates, like, you know, a little bubble, so to speak, around them. As in, like, your jobbers, but you clearly have like an actual working gimmick where being a jobber is your gimmick. So it works for them. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a shame that they're never going to go any further, particularly Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas, who both had decent starts to their actual like gimmick career. But you know, at the very least, they're doing something. But they lose to the Usos when the Usos just do like fucking bear super kicks, Uso crazies, and all that fucking craziness. There's no point in that. Backstage, we get an interesting segment with Mick Foley, and they're talking about hardcore. Are you sure you want to do this and all this nonsense? In what was essentially a passing of the torch. The end of the segment came when Mick Foley handed Dean Ambrose a barbed wire 2x4. I'd be brave. I mean, I was all for Ambrose winning anyway. I was like, meh, if it happens, it happens. But then someone mentioned to me how, like, Lesnar hasn't been pinned, hasn't been beaten, actually, since WrestleMania 30. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. He actually has, obviously, as we all know, he has been beaten once by The Undertaker. But he hasn't been beat. You know, he hasn't pretty much been beat since then, has he? I mean, Lesnar didn't even lose before the Rumble. I think he even won at SummerSlam 2013 against CM Punk, you know? So, Lesnar, it's been a good old long time since Lesnar lost. I think we're coming up like on 3 years if you don't include the whole dusty like finish, kind of messed up screwy finish at SummerSlam, which I do because The Undertaker has beaten Brock Lesnar. Deal with it. But anyway, no. I don't know, man. Look, I'm just happy in this particular segment that, you know, we got a reason to believe in Ambrose. Mick Foley has, like, you know, passed the torch. I really did hope that they would mention their Twitter feud about a couple of years ago, because that was originally meant to be the shit that brought Ambrose to the main roster and all this, but, you know, that. But instead, he formed a group called The Shield with a young lad named Roman Reigns and another young lad named Seth Rollins. So, I wonder how that worked out. The rest they say is history, but it's all good. He hands him a barbed wire 2x4. I've got nothing to complain about so far with this build. I'm just gonna, you know, I suppose for once, if you got nothing to complain about and no improvements to offer, I suppose in a way it is like the perfect wrestling angle in the traditional sense, because you're just waiting to see like what happens. But next, HHH and Ziggler, they have a bit of a barn burner. No real storyline development during the match though. Loads of false finishes, pedigrees, mostly on Dolph Ziggler's side actually. I mean, I thought it could be possibly interesting, at least in the short term, and that is the problem with WWE. Like, you know, the difference between you, me, and WWE Creative is that you and I, you beautiful viewers, subscribers, new viewers, returning subscribers, hit that subscribe button down below. Yeah. The difference between me and you and them is essentially that we know, as tempting as it is to book short-term angles like Dolph Ziggler taking the place of Shane McMahon in the Hell in a Cell, or Lana having her clothes stolen and trying to find the mystery culprit just so we can see Lana slightly nude on TV. We know that the temptation is there to do that, but unfortunately, I suppose. So just still in Lana naked mode, but yeah. Basically, we know that short-term storyline development isn't there to be short-term, basically. You know, it could be a quick fix, like if you're looking for shock value, like 1 week, but obviously then like it comes to a point where a long-term plan is needed, and I suppose that's what they were going for here. But I still wanted Ziggler to win just to see what he was going to do. That would, you know, that was the intrigue to the match, and fair enough, they hooked us and kept us with a load of false finishes. Triple H eventually wins with the pedigree. He's celebrating, and out comes Roman Reigns, who major breakthrough, lads, who finally knows how to use an entrance ramp. Down he comes to the entrance ramp and completely batters Triple H. Blood, commentary table being fucking chucked at him, bins being chucked at him, running through to the backstage area, hitting him with a plasma TV until he eventually has to be calmed down by the Usos and Mark Henry. Now, don't get me wrong, I just can't buy into the whole Roman Reigns thing. I don't know if it's because he's being like positioned, for them to directly try and tell me who I like, or I don't know if it's like just so like it's boring, man. Like Michael Cole through the whole segment was screaming his best Joey Styles kind of commentary. Oh my God, I've never seen Roman Reigns act like this before. I've never seen Roman Reigns act like this before. Dude, we've all seen Roman Reigns act like this before. It is infuriating and insulting that Michael Cole doesn't fucking believe we have memories. We have memories, man. We fucking seen TLC 2015. Don't insult us. Just say something simple like, Roman's back. He's looking for revenge. He's on the attack. Roman Reigns has gone a mad one. He's lost it. He's not got his sanity. Roman Reigns is mental. I'm not a WWE commentator. I mean, if I had more, if it was happening in front of me, I'd be more pumped up. Basically, I could probably do a better job than Michael Cole. Or at least, if not a better one, then a not as boring one. But yeah, for me, look, some people liked it. I saw some people saying, oh, he's back in TLC 2015 mode. Let's keep him there. Well, that's all well and good. How long before he's saying suffering succotash and all this fucking bollocks? I just don't buy into it. I mean, yeah, he's going to win the fucking WWE World Heavyweight Championship. But you know what? Like, oh, and I will say this, and I'm going to get a lot of stick for this. Roman Reigns has had the title twice. Has he already? Twice? He won it as Survivor Series, lost it, and then got it back, and then, lost it again. Okay, right. That's no problem. He's had it twice, essentially. He's just got another Raw notification. They come through like hotcakes today. But essentially put, yeah, with each of the last 3 WWE World Heavyweight Champions, and we're going to have to go back a bit of a way here. But before Roman, I mean, with John Cena, even though his stick was a little bit boring, it always felt like it was meant to be. It felt like the title was important, and it felt like John Cena was here to fucking fight. With Brock Lesnar, it felt like a guy with an unbeatable aura was holding it, like an actual legit champion. And it was always interesting to see how the fuck this guy would be toppled. Would it be by a returning Undertaker looking for revenge? Would it be by shenanigans? Or would it be by just some crazy feat of, greatness to beat the man who broke the streak? As we found out, it was really neither, or any of those, And then with Rollins, I always felt I was super interested in Rollins' fucking title reign. I mean, okay, you are talking to a guy that would have given it to Kane for a month or even like a week, just a week. I know that's stupid booking, but hey, I'm a 90s kid, nostalgia, that's gotta be Kane and all that. So, but I was happy seeing Rollins with the belt. I mean, I know that he lost it, because he was injured, and that's not WWE's fault. But by God, man, wrestling has no shock value anymore. It really doesn't. And that's the thing that gets me. I don't want, right? People talk about Lesnar being a mercenary and fucking, only doing it for the money and stuff like that. And I can see why some people feel like that. I do. Right? I really do. But at least with Lesnar, he's a legitimate badass. And to a certain extent, he does care. Like, he has a lot of respect for the veterans. Like, Undertaker. In a WrestleMania 31 behind the scenes video, he said, "Are you going to go get some?" And the Undertaker was like, "Yeah, I'm going to go get some." I mean, okay, that's not bros of bros, but it's respect. With Roman Reigns, I'm sorry. Anyone that knows anything about history knows he's a fucking football player that didn't make it. He's a football player that didn't make it. He ain't even The Rock's real cousin. Don't even get me started. I'm moving on because I don't want to go on a mad one. Okay. Next, we have Jericho out, and I don't really know how to explain this one. He had a match with Neville, but I believe it was in the commercial break, so we actually didn't see how it happened, but Neville hurt his leg, and you can visibly hear Jericho like ask him if he's okay. I mean, I know they're meant to do that on the quiet and stuff like that, but they can't help it. You know, Jericho was injured. Sorry, Neville was injured at some point during this contest, and you know it's not good, man. I mean, Jericho waved it off, got on the mic and insulted AJ Styles, and AJ come out and hit him with the phenomenal elbow to end the segment. Good storyline development between AJ and Jericho. I thought it was a bit short, but I'm just wishing Neville the best in a speedy recovery. Nice one by Jericho, ending the match in a veteran way last night to make sure Neville wasn't injured. We have the final segment of the night as Vince makes his way out to the ring and cuts the promo on what would happen if Shane wins at Mania. He says it ain't going to happen at all because, yeah, Undertaker, his instrument of destruction. He knows Undertaker won't have a problem leaving Shane messed up. Out comes the Undertaker, who's introduced as Vince's instrument of destruction, as Paul Bearer once famously said about Kane. Then, pretty much, shit hits the fan. Shane comes out, calls Undertaker a puppet. This pisses Undertaker off. And, you know, he goes to punch him, and then Undertaker, like, you know, Shane misses, and he does that fucking random 6-year-old, angry 6-year-old style punches, which is now affectionately called the Shane O'Mac Shuffle. Just let that sink in. Thank God Vince pushes Shane into the Undertaker, who gets a chokeslam for his troubles, and Vince runs out of the ring like a scolded dog to end Raw, leaving Undertaker standing tall. Briefly, look, this whole storyline is fucked up, man. We still ain't got a fucking reason as to why Undertaker wants to be Vince McMahon's fucking crony or whatever. Not that Undertaker could ever be heel. Here's an idea. Why don't you promise Undertaker a title match? Just simple. I mean, the Phenom wants the Holy Grail, as he once called it, right? I mean, make it interesting. Make the Undertaker have something to fight for. As far as Shane McMahon goes, good God Almighty, man, I could really see this match being a massacre. Like, even his punches. I mean, I know he's not a wrestler, yeah, and I know he was good back in the day. I understand that. I'm not ripping on Shane. I love Shane, and I'm glad that he's back. I am. I just don't see it working out good. You know, this ain't 9 years ago, 8 years ago versus Legacy. I ain't in school anymore. You know? Fucking hell. But I suppose that's it. I just want to say once again, thank you everyone for watching this, and thank you, God. Thank you, God, for fucking daylight savings. You have no idea how much going to bed an extra hour earlier after Raw is good for me. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. If you have enjoyed it, don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe down below. Until next time, this has been Taker Luke. Hopefully this live stream was better than last week's one. Hopefully I'm getting a bit more used to it. Anyway, I'm out. Peace.